Hey guys, welcome back to the ET Customs video, and today we'll be looking at one of my customs, which is the Overflag, right? So as you guys can see, this is actually the original manual that comes with this kit, and I've really done a custom paint job, which is actually inspired by the Snow Sazabi. And as you can see, the colors are actually pretty similar, which is white, gray and black, and some accents of red. Because this kit is a non-grade, so it does not have an inner frame, that is why I do not have the inner gold for the inner frame. But then I did add some gold, which is as you can see at the chest over here, and some small parts of the legs. I do not want the gold to be too outstanding, so that it doesn't take away the look of the kit. Alright, so for my first custom part, which is the legs, as you can see, if you guys are Gunpla nerds or fans or professional Gunpla modeler, you guys could tell that this is actually from a from a unicorn, Gundam unicorn, right? I got this from a high-grade unicorn, which is some extra parts that is left over because I didn't use that kit, right? And what else that is new is alright, these are the wing parts. I actually used the grenades and put it under the wing. Alright, so why actually I use this is to make it looks like missiles on a wing, so when it's on the flight mode it looks like it can shoot out missiles or some shit, right? Okay guys, so one heavy modification that I've done to this kit is actually the head. As you can see, it is actually slightly sharper than usual, right? As you can see, actually I trimmed this part out here and shave it down, and then the fin over here, or the ears, right, I actually cut it down and make it sharper. That is why this kit looks slightly meaner than usual, right? So I'll actually show you how does this kit looks like without the modifications. As you can see, the head is actually flush with the ears or the fins. So if I do this, the whole head looks very squarish, right? So it actually looks good on this angle, which is why if you realize the whole entire promotional images, all of them are actually was taken slightly upwards to make the head not so boxy, right? But actually after I modify it, it actually looks good even from a bottom shot, as what you can see over here right now, right? So the details that I've done, if I can just focus on the head, right, as you can see, it's actually I have a slight chrome under the head, right? And then this clear orange will actually shine through because the back face plate I actually paint chrome, so that the orange actually shines through brighter. If not, it does not shine like this. Or actually you could actually use the stickers, which is the included in the box, right? And what other things that I've done is basically I've drilled out all the holes. As you can see, this kit, it does have a lot of holes, right? By doing this, actually the holes looks more convincing instead of just a small thing like this, right? As you can see, this one, you can see the hole is too shallow. It doesn't look like a real functioning hole. So most of the holes over here, I actually drill it down to make it more realistic, right? And I actually go through with the chisel. This is actually the first kit that actually I use a chisel on. If I'm not mistaken, it's some parts under the arm over here, and then the legs, this detail over here. If not, this whole part is actually just blank, right? So it looks pretty boring. If this kit you didn't do any additional pen lines or additional work, it does not look this good, right? And the decals, I actually use water slides, and actually some the true decals or something like that. That's what they call, right? The decals I use is this one. It's called the Overflag decal. There's one more over here, which is I delayed. It does not look that bad, I guess, so because I put top coat over it. But if you look very closely, you can actually see some imperfections, right? So if you guys do not want to have this kind of problem, I suggest you guys not to use the water slides, and just don't go with this type of decal. Just go for a water slide, or just change entirely. Do not have to use these overflags. But as for me, I want it to still stay as an overflag. That is why I use the decals. Now let's go to the back, and for the back there's nothing much. I actually just paint this one as a two-tone, right? As you can see, I can just take it out. Right here it's actually black, and the front part is actually white, right? So this is white, black. How actually I do this is basically I just paint black over here, and then I just clip in the alligator clip, and I just paint it this way over here white. I do not use any masking on this kit because I want to make it looks more realistic, because in real life the painting like this, they won't actually mask it because it's underside, right? So I want to make it not too clean of a paint job. Alright, so second thing that I've done is basically the boosters over here, or the backpack. I actually go in and add some details. If I'm not mistaken, this is actually bronze. I actually add it with a Sharpie marker. Sharpie actually is not bad for small details like this, but I don't recommend using Sharpie to paint a huge area, right? Because it won't be smooth. Using airbrush is actually the best. And of course, this kit I've done a lot of masking. As you can see, the gold here is actually one part. This whole green part is supposed to be one part, so I mask it out and put some gold over here, right? And parts like this whole part is actually just two plastics sandwiched together, the legs. So as you can see, there is actually still seam line here. I've forgotten to remove this, but up here I actually removed the seam line, so you can't really see the seam line that obvious. But I actually didn't really glue it up, so it's still slightly visible, right? Why I didn't glue it up is basically I do not want to modify the legs over here, because the leg mechanism here is slightly different than a normal Gunpla. That is why if I were to modify this, I could not remove this part for painting unless I do a lot of masking, which I'm pretty lazy at this point. And certain details like this, the fins here and some black parts here. Why actually I add this is because that the whole robot, or the whole overflag, looks pretty much white, so I need to add some black and gray on the legs, which is why I add this. But if too much black, it actually looks pretty weird, and it does not look like the snow Sazabi kind of theme, right? Which is why I go with this type of color scheme. And alright, so I come down back again to the legs. The legs, basically why I actually add this Sinanju front over here is mainly because the original shoes pretty suck, right? This is actually how the legs looks like before modification. So it's actually a square kind of thing. It looks pretty off because the kid is actually pretty tall and pretty skinny, and then the legs are actually just way too small, right, for my liking, which is why I actually modified it. But this kit actually looks pretty good in flight mode too, right? So I actually go through and transform it to flight mode, and let's see how it looks. Okay guys, so now I'll go through the transformation, right? So first of all, you should spread out the arms like this, right? And then pull the whole kit up, right? There is actually a hinge in the bottom here, as you can see. The whole kit can go up, and then put the arms back like this behind the what is it called, the side skirt kind of fin thingy, right? And then face the whole kit down like this. As you can see, the head will automatically hide under the front part over here, right? So after that, what you should do is just bring it down like this, and then flip the legs back like this, and then the toes, and then the legs, right? So it looks like a, what is it called, the aeroplane fin, I guess. And then the arms just face it out like this, right? So so far the kit transformation is not that hard, but the biggest issue about the transformation is actually the shield, or I mean the gun, right? The main weapon of this Gunpla is very hard to fit into this bottom part here. As you can see, I'm not sure if you can see, there is actually a hole down here, right? Can you see? Alright, just trust me. Yeah, right. As you can see, there is a small hole inside here. You have to fit in the trigger over here into that hole, right? But the problem is I can't seem to put it in. Okay, so the transformation basically is done. Okay guys, so this is actually how the flight mode looks like of the actual kit. One part that I don't like about the flight mode is actually the hands. Right, the hands is pretty big on this kit, so it really stands out. I do not have some additional weapons. If not, actually I would want to convert the arms into some kind of machine gun or something, but the problem is that if I were to do that, I could not hold the gun, right? So if I were to have two more other weapons, actually it won't be a bad idea, but I do not have two matching weapons to make it symmetry, right? Because I'm actually a pretty big fan of symmetry, but I know there's a lot of asymmetrical fans out there, so you guys could be more creative than me and go with what kind of design that you guys like, right? So that's how it looks like during flight form. Okay guys, and one more thing about this kit, I guess you guys might be wondering, is that how does the feet under the feet looks like, right? So as you know me, I'm actually normally pretty lazy, so I did not fill up the feet. I could actually just do a plow plate, a very simple job, but I actually just way too lazy. And why actually I didn't do it is because that I scared that when I move it around, it might affect the articulation. That is why I didn't do this. And also, if I were to leave it open, you guys can see what actually I did. Is basically I just chop off the front of the feet and just glue in the unicorn feet over here, right? How do I actually do this? Is basically I paint this whole part in together, and then I mask it out and paint in the different colors and the different details. Why should I do this? Because actually it's way easier to paint it it's actually easier to glue them together when it's actually on a plastic form, and then actually glue it on after the paint, because the glue might actually run out from the parts and destroy your paint. It's better to just glue it up, sand it down, and then paint it over it, right? So basically I don't think there's much to talk about this kit, right? Of course you can actually put this on an action base. If you guys wanted to see, it's basically this front part here. You can open it up, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this one here, yeah, you can open it up and put on the wheels, and or I think action base if I'm not mistaken, or you guys can just use the Ford type of action base and just put it into here, the leg area, and make it fly, I mean appear flying. And there is actually the landing gears, which I didn't put on this kit. Is from one of them is under here, the crotch area here, and two more is under here. This black part here could actually open up or just swap out, right? You remove this and you put in another part with the wheels, but I'm just way too lazy to do it, so I don't, right? And I find that it is actually just no point to do it, because even without the wheels, this kit looks pretty badass in the flight mode like this, right? And if you guys want to know, there is actually separate parts for the wings. As you can see, the flap that I showed you just now is actually open. Open basically is represent that it's landing or maintenance mode, so it's basically not flying, right? Or actually just brake or hovering on the air. If it is, you can actually swap them out for a straight one. It's because but I didn't use it. It's mainly because I feel that this is way cooler. You can see two tones of color on the wings, right? And also that I accidentally broke one of the pegs. Not really a peg, but one of this thing. As you can see, there is a connection. These are 1 2 3 4 here. These are actually the only connecting part from the back side of the flaps to the wings over here. I accidentally chopped one of them out on the straight one, so that is why actually I don't use them. Okay guys, so before I end my review or this video, actually I've forgotten to show you certain parts. One of them is actually the shield. I didn't do really much on the shield, but I think it's good for me to point this out, that actually this whole thing is actually just two parts sandwiched together, right? So this circle part is actually combined together with this side parts here, and this gray part is actually masked out and paint. I actually go in with a chisel to make all the panel lines more deeper, and also the chisel of this part over here to make it more detailed and looks more deeper, I guess, because the original shield, as you can see, it is not really as deep. It's a pretty shallow thing. So what I do is actually I go in with a chisel and try to dig out more of it. Basically it just looks slightly different. I wouldn't recommend you guys to do this, because I think that the amount of effort that you put in, it is not really that visible on the completed kit, right? And one more gimmick that I forgot to point out is actually you can flip out this part over here, and there is a blade under here, but again I didn't really put in the blade, and I don't really paint the blade also, so that is why it is empty. But you guys can actually paint it and put it in if you guys want, because I don't really put it in because I don't find the point of it. Most of the time it is closed up, and I don't really use melee on this kit anyway. It looks pretty weird because this guy is like a flying kind of thing. It looks pretty fragile, and I don't think it looks good in a melee kind of setup, right? So that is why I don't paint it. And also the knife can be used for future kits, so I just keep them for now. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. See you guys again next time. Please do leave me a like and subscribe, and actually share this to any of your Gunpla fans if they actually like Gunpla, or actually they are looking into customizing the Gunpla. This is actually a very good way to get some ideas for any kits that you want to build in the future. Alright, so take care guys. See you guys again next time.